Thank you. I think Honorable Mender, you were next. Was it Honorable?
Yeah. Unless you want to jump me, Chair. Thank you, Honorable Chair. And welcome, Minister. You are in the, I'm not sure whether I must say that it's a baptism of fire. Now I think I'll contextualize it by saying that I know that you are new in this department, but fortunately your CEO saying that I know that you are new in this department, but fortunately your CEO, I guess she's been there for more than 15 years at ESCOM. I mean at Transnet. Michelle, am I right? 25 years. Thank you. Transnet. This is not clear what they mean because the market is huge. Trucks on the road have crippled since 2019. Many trucks on the road meant the failure of Transnet. Ask them, if I may, is it true that we have too many trucks on the road? Maintenance backlog is almost 50.1 billion rand. How do you propose to close this gap? What is your annual maintenance spending over the past 3 years, and how will that change going forward? You talk about 60 million in ineffective debt that was spent incurred between 2011 and 2019. Labeled as a state capture debt that was spent. What is the breakdown of this debt? To whom is it owed? Why is it labeled ineffective? Can you really show us the statements from the auditors that confirm this assertion about state capture? Please refer us to this statement and give us a full particulars. The fleet of Mitsu and CRRC, why is it unavailable? Are these external factors? Influence the operational direction of Transnet. Debt has grown from 122 billion to 130 billion in 2023. This is only 8 billion, so why is now a huge burden? Is it true that what is not being said is that the decrease in volumes, therefore revenue decline, is the cause of all Transnet problems? I think I'll take another round because it will be too much, I guess. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Honorable Member. So can I just emphasize again? So I want us to start with the Minister. We have until 1 o'clock with the Transnet management team. We've got lots of time. They're not going anywhere. Let's start with the Minister, please. And then we spend as much time as we have with the Transnet management
Chair,
team.
I would also just bring to your attention, I only have 20 minutes left.
No, yeah, that's fine. The members will go through the Minister. The members will ask their questions, and then we'll give you an opportunity to answer. Can I? Honorable Mente was next, I think.
Chair, good morning, Chairperson and the colleagues. Chair, I want to make a plea with you. I don't want us to engage in some malicious exercise. This activity is going to be very futile. If the minister's indicating already that she's got 20 minutes, it limits all of us from engaging meaningfully. Equally, we are not going to get meaningful answers. So is there another remedy that you can come up with? Because the minister is coming when next week again. can we park the minister's questions until such time? Because we want to engage. Transnet is a very important state-owned entity, and we can't deal with it this way. Because as the executive authority, she has to answer on certain aspects and also provide guidance. Thank you.
Okay, I'm quite happy to kind of take the view of the members. I felt that the minister needs to be here, notwithstanding the fact that she must appear at the National Council of Provinces, and then come back and brief the committee in full on all the entities that fall under her department. So, as I said, the minister is coming back. So if the committee members are happy for us to release the minister, I'm quite happy to release the minister, given that the minister is coming back to spend an entire sitting with us.
I second the motion.
Okay. Minister?
Thank you, Chair. Shall I deal with the questions that have been asked already?
I think, Minister, since the questions have been asked, deal with the questions that have been asked, and then when we begin, we start a new engagement with questions that have arisen on that day.
Thank you very much, Chair, and thank you to the members for the questions. And I really am very happy to come back for a longer session. I think that today has just been a difficult day because there's a Transport Portfolio Committee meeting, which the Deputy Minister is attending. There's this meeting, and there's also the National Council of Provinces. So I was explaining to the Chair, it's hard for the Deputy Minister and I to divide ourselves into more than two. But at a mutually convenient date, one is happy to have further questions. Let me start with the issue of the CRRC. And I think that the entity has already explained to you the pragmatic solutions which they are engaged in so that we should have access to locos. I explained to you that I'm 2 weeks old in this job. Since then, I have been in touch with SARS. The difficulty we've experienced, myself and the commissioners, being in the same city at the same time, but we agree with you that this is an important matter for the shareholder to understand. I have had a briefing from my predecessor, both predecessors, and once we have further news, we will share it with the committee. On the question of the fruitless and wasteful expenditure, I think you've already seen that there has been auditing of this in the current financial year. My understanding is we've got a year, this financial year is the last year of the exemption, and from there would be normal accounting on this matter. With regard to the recapitalization, we are agreed that there needs to be recapitalization. I think that what we are also agreed is that there is a difficult balance between ensuring that we increase revenue sufficiently, that we can cover debt matters that were raised by the honourable member, and ensuring that we should also be improving our performance. So I think it's this difficult balance that we are struggling with at the moment. What you would understand is that in terms of the National Logistics Crisis Committee and the Freight Logistics Strategy, we're developing a framework for private sector participation. I'm trying to have that framework concluded by the end of this year so that we should be able to set up the necessary capacity with speed. Obviously, from the side of Transnet, they would be dealing with their network statement, which I think would be outlining what would be the necessary offerings that they would be making. We're also putting in place the Transport Economic Regulator. So all of these policy positions are moving in tandem with trying to improve current performance so that we are able to sustain current debt, which has been approved by National Treasury. I think when we look to bringing in third-party operators, we want to maintain state ownership of the network. Clearly, if we need partners in infrastructure development, we might be looking at some form of a BOT, but we would also, if we are looking towards locos, we would also be looking towards bringing in other operators. So these are the policy processes that have already been approved by Cabinet and which essentially one would be wanting to ensure that we can implement. From the side of the board, I think that what we know is that last year with the exit, well, with first of all the extremely poor performance that there was on the network, and also with the exit of the previous group CEO, there was a crisis in the entity. My understanding is that there were a significant number of board meetings that took place in order to deal with the crisis. I have indicated to the board that it's not my expectation that they continue in this manner. It's my expectation that they would be having their normal board meetings, and if there were exceptional circumstances, there would be exceptional meetings. And I have communicated that to the board at the AGM. I think that I've dealt with the loan issue. I'm aware that as the executive authority, I inherit the sins of the fathers. I would not absolve myself of responsibility for those sins. I suppose the question one would have to look into in terms of the settlement regarding the former group CEO is what were the contractual agreements when exiting that situation, and were those followed? And I have no doubt that my colleague to my left will be able to give you assurance one way or another on that matter. I think we can all agree there's too many trucks on the road. And I think we all agree that those trucks are doing considerable damage to our road infrastructure, and they also pose a safety risk to communities and also to other road users and pedestrians. I think that the reason that I am concerned about the tonnage that is being transported on the rail line is because it's only when we improve the tonnage that is being transported by rail that we're going to start to see a lot of that freight moving back onto the rail network. And I'm sure honourable members would agree with me that rail needs to be the backbone of both our passenger and our freight transportation systems. And the department has this road to rail strategy. I think that it's a very important strategy to be implemented from a safety point of view, from an efficiency point of view, and of course from an environmental point of view. Chair, I'm sure you'll give guidance as to whether you want to spend time in your committee debating whether or not state capture occurred. I think we all saw the Zondo Commission, we all saw the evidence of the Zondo Commission. I'm not sure that you would want us to be debating it. But I guess that one of the issues that we have to look at when we're looking at the debt, but also at historical financial viability and lack of viability, is how were the finances being managed during that time? Because one of my understandings is that during the pre-2017 period, we saw a situation where adequate maintenance was not being done on the rail line and also on the port's infrastructure. I actually took the opportunity to visit all of the major ports, and it's quite shocking to me that we have major cranes, straddles, capstans, which we have acquired from OEMs, but there was no contract for parts. It was shocking to me that we had a situation that those pieces of equipment needed a midlife refurbishment in 2016, but that was not done. So when we look at current underperformance, one of the questions we must ask is not just what contracts may have been procured in an irregular manner. One must also be asking, were we dealing effectively with maintenance? Did we have proper midlife servicing of our equipment? All of these issues. Because sometimes what one finds in entities is we take the budget that was supposed to be used for these processes, and instead we put it to demonstrate that we have cash surpluses. So these are questions, no doubt, we could spend considerable amounts of time discussing. And I'm sure it would be something that would be of great interest to all of us. I guess other questions that have been asked really are operational. They would be in the domain of the entity and of the board. I would want to pause there. Thank you very much, Honourable Chair.
Minister, thank you. So before I release you, Minister, I'd like to say this, that as the chair, I'm the one who welcomes people into the meeting and releases them to go. And we make best endeavors here, given the work of Parliament and the multiple committees, to cooperate with one another as chairs, so that all of us get the political accounting officers that should appear before us. I think, Minister, it is not appropriate for you to say you have 20 minutes. I should be the allocator of time here, not anyone who's appearing before the committee. And I think you should withdraw that comment and apologize to the committee members.
I withdraw and I apologize, Chair.